So I'm going to address this whole Epstein scandal and Peter Mandelson and everything that's been going on. This situation, I was deep in politics 10 years ago when Pizzagate came out. And I was one of the people that attended the school. Bear with me because I can't remember the whole situation, but I remember finding out about Pizzagate, and I think there was a school in Highgate. I think it was Highgate. And a load of people were gonna go down there and obviously contest what had happened. And long story short, I either went on the wrong day or got the address wrong, or so I didn't get the address wrong, so I was in the right place, but nobody was there. I was the only person there, and it was horrific what I even just vibed and felt there with the police, the teachers. They didn't want me on the property, blah 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 blah. But I will say, people like me who are like actively involved in political issues really do have a tendency to take a step back, because as much as we do tell you what's going on with the powers that be, you have to understand that sitting back, doing nothing and just casting a vote is definitely not enough to stop what is going on and the kind of people that are running the country, not just this country, but because we're talking of the UK, this country. You really need to understand how to defeat evil. The country is getting so bad because people are just expecting other people to be responsible for them and expecting other people to do something, when this is something that needs to be done collectively, and we all need to get on the same page and start doing things collectively. Otherwise, it's just going to get worse. Right now, you have Keir Starmer refusing to give up his title in leadership, because what they're doing, in my opinion, what my belief is what's happening is, like what they done with COVID, they are pushing to see how much they can get away with. And if they keep being allowed to get away with these things and all, you know, it's complete, I don't want to call it crime, but it's just complete evilness, and keep getting away with it and keep controlling the masses and telling you what we are or not going to do, it's going to get to a point where, and that's trigger warning, paedophilia is just going to become normal. Like, it's just like a slap on the wrist. It's nothing. And I think this is what they're trying to push for. There shouldn't even be a question about Keir Starmer still in his position. He should be out. There should be no nonsense to the things that these politicians are doing. So what the politicians are now doing, they're pushing, like they done with COVID, when they told everybody that they had to stay in their houses and nobody could see their families, and they were out there having parties, completely disregarding the rules they'd made for everybody else. Like with digital ID is only for you, but it's not for the politicians. It's just for you to be controlled, and kind of people just keep going along with it. And nobody's standing up to it and saying no. You have to rebel against people that are using their power as corruption, and that is the problem. And with this situation, I've already said in one of my videos I have on my social media, a lot of you voted this man in knowing his connection to Jimmy Savile. So it is more to do with your moral compass as well. And if you didn't vote for him, you have your reasons. But for a lot of you, you did. And a lot of you will remain voting for these Labour politicians or these other corrupt politicians. This is such a huge scandal. The people need to understand their position and who they are in terms of government. The government aren't supposed to be governing you. You're supposed to be governing the government. It's not, they're not working, you're not working for the government. The government are there for you, not the other way around. But there's such a huge reliance now on government, and we don't self-sustain. We don't know how to look after ourselves. We have just become more programmed into doing less and not looking after our communities, not looking after, and we're not doing as much, and we're just getting the government to do it. They are now becoming our parents, and they are telling us how things are going to be and how things are going to be run. So as people, what you need to do is start taking your sovereignty back, start taking your power back, understand a bit of history and why we have governments in the first place, and then once you understand why we have governments in the first place and what their actual position and jobs are, and how they are actually here to serve and not dictate, and the history behind England and who actually can be leaders and who cannot. And then you start actually facing the corruption and standing up instead of getting other people just to do it for you. That is when you may see a change, because if you don't, it's going to get so much worse than what it already is. And for those of you who have children and grandchildren, what you're going to end up leaving them is going to be more of a mess than what our grandparents have left. I've been fighting back governments for very long, but a lot of the reasons why I took a step back was because of the lack of support from others who complained about situations but didn't want to get involved, or didn't want to get their hands too dirty, or kind of was so comfortable in their little bubble, their little lives, that there was only so far they were willing to go. And so what's going to happen is, what we're not willing to do, the next generation are going to be left to deal with, and nobody wants that. These issues, another thing you need to realize is, really do not care what people say about you. It's the biggest trick in the book. Worrying about what other people think of you, what other people say about you, the name calling. These are all just government plants put in to control you. You've really got to kind of let go of what people have to say, regardless of your opinions. Truths are truths. And things with mass immigration, countrysides now being taken over. They want to now take over countryside. Churches becoming liberal. All these issues that are happening, worrying about what other people have to say is something you have to let go of, and you need to be more involved. I don't care how you are involved. Do whatever you can with the resources you have, but you cannot sit there and do the least and then just sit back and complain, because it's going to get so much worse. Trust me, if you knew some of the things I knew about politicians, government, celebrities, these aren't conspiracy theories. I have been in the midst of some of these stories and have had to take a step back due to the lack of representation, the lack of support, and then putting my own well-being into danger. For what? To then just take on more on my own? No. So I don't do these videos in vain. You can follow me on social media. I've now got a Conscious Rebellion for Instagram. I think my TikTok will end up being the same name, where you can follow, ask questions, but you have to start coming together, because this has got to be one of the biggest scandals that I've come across since the Pizzagate from 10 years ago, but 10 years it's come back. And for Keir Starmer to sit there and say, I'm not going anywhere, is testing how far can these politicians go with their corruption. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next video.
Or when you turn on your television, you can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes.